Welcome back to Cardigan Bay Fishing Adventures. As you can see, the stringer layout is now in the boat. We've put one layer over everything. All of these have had one layer. I'll do a little bit of explaining because there's been a lot of confusion with these foam stringers, but you can see it is like concrete, and that is just one layer of chop strand. 450 GSM it is, that's the weight of it. The foam, it isn't structural. I've got to just explain it quickly because a lot of people are confused with it. To be fair, I was confused when I first seen the idea. You can see here there's like a silver backing. Obviously the fiberglass is not going to stick to that. It just won't. No matter what you do, it's not going to stick to it. You could rip it off. The point of the foam is not strength, it's purely a mould. If you can imagine, I'll pull all this stringer system out and put it on the floor, fiberglass it all on the floor. If I could pull the foam insert out, I could lay the stringer structure back in the boat. The foam is nothing to do with strength. It is literally purely a mould. That is it. It's got no structural benefit whatsoever. It's the fiberglass structure, the way this is all tied together in like the squares. That's what the strength is. You'll see in places like here, there's a gap. There's not actually a gap. There's fiberglass there. See? So the point of this is just something to mould the glass around. That is it. So try and not to confuse yourself thinking, how is that foam going to be strung? It's not. The foam is nothing. It's just there just to support the glass to dry into these shapes. But as you can see, it's solid. I'll move out the way so you can see the rest of the layout. Obviously all the way up to the front. It's a bit awkward now with no floor in here. As you can see, that's the layout for the stringers. I'm not 100% yet exactly how I'm going forward. The edges, all down the edges, as you can see, if water was to get in there, there's no way for it to drain. It can't hold a lot. What I might be doing with all the edge compartments and up to the back is foaming those with the polyurethane closed cell foam. The centre, I'm either going to leave as it is, or I may use the Celotex sheets, these things, and place them in, not fiberglass, just place them in just to fill the cavity. So if I was to get a hole, it can't hold as much water in the centre. But what I'm doing in my head, my plan, let's just pretend the boat gets holed up here somewhere. The centre will fill with water as much as obviously as it can. There's a little drain pipe between each centre so I can drain it out. But my idea in my head, let's just say the boat gets holed, the centre fills up, it's giving it low down weight to stop it capsizing, if that makes sense. Obviously I don't want to get a hole in the boat, and I'm building this boat strung to stop that happening. It's going to have roving, it's got roving on the inside of the hull, and it's going to have roving on the outside of the hull as well, on the keel. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking, sort of. Put foam in here just to fill the cavities, really, to stop as much water getting in if it was to flood one day, so it won't hold as much water. But if it does get water in here, it's in the lowest point of the boat and it's centered in the middle of the boat, so it should stop it capsizing and being a bit rolly, if you know what I mean. The water's stuck in this section if it floods. You can probably see this waste pipe here. It's 32mm waste, which is used on like sinks and stuff like that. There's going to be a bulkhead here, right here. That there is going to be the anchor locker. This pipe's being cut back. It'll be sealed and put in there as drainage. So when I put the anchor back into the locker, any water coming off the rope is going to drain through the pipe straight through to the sump at the back. It's open, that pipe is. It's not got a plug or anything in. So any water that gets in the front locker will go straight through to the sump. And that's it really. Today now, I'm starting from here again. I'm going to start layering it up now. It's all had one layer, so I'm going to do the next layer on it all. I may do roving on this layer and then go over with chop strand again. I may not. I've been told not to put roving in it. You don't need to. It's a waste of money, basically. At this point today, I've spent 1,500 quid on resin and glass, and then like rollers and paint brushes and stuff to do the fiberglass in. And as you can see, the boat's don't even look like a boat still. So it takes a lot of money in fiberglass to get these done. The transom cost about 700 or 800 quid in fiberglass in and materials. It is mental, but I'm not sure cutting this build, it's being done the best I physically can do it. I can't really do it any better than this. It's technically overkill for a boat of this caliber, but this boat's going to outlast me. This can't rot ever. It's fiberglass and foam, so the stringer layout will never need to be done ever again in the whole entire life of the whole boat. That is it, it's done. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking crap and I'm going to just get on with it. These parts here, where you can see there and there, those don't need to stay. It was just easier to put that stringer in one piece. So these parts here are not fiberglassed. It's probably going to be cut off around there somewhere and cut off there to get rid of that piece, keep that piece and keep that piece, just to support the deck, same as this side. It doesn't need them. So yeah, that's it basically. What I'm probably going to do is time lapse it. There's no point me talking you through fiberglassing again and again and again. So I'm going to bang the camera on time lapse and just time lapse this process, as much of it as I can. See, the stringers are totally finished all over. It's had 3 layers of chop strand. I say 3 layers, it's probably had more with the tabbing, because I did tabbing around the edges, in the corners everywhere, and all of it. And then I've gone over the top with these with at least 3 whole layers. So in the corners and the tabbing there might be 6, 7 layers in places. There's no roving through it. A lot of people have said, oh, you've got to put roving in it. You don't have to put roving in it. This is more than strong enough. Well, you can see it is like concrete, it's solid. There's no flex hardly at all in the boat now for when you're moving it, which is what you want. It will flex a bit, but not too much. This design I did steal off somebody else, I won't mention his name, is a boat builder. He advised me what to do and I've followed it pretty much to a T, not exact. And there's a boat that goes out often with a keen angler with this same structure and this same layout. He uses that boat heavily and he has for years and years and years. Exactly the same layup with the matting and everything, and he's never had a problem. So I won't have a problem with this. There will be people saying you should have done this, you should have done that. I understand that. There's lots of different ways to do it, but this is the way I've done it, and I'm using this boat and nobody else. So if it goes wrong, it's my problem. But anyway, next will be flow coating. I've got some darkish grey flow coat to go over this, just protect it, seal everything under the deck. Doesn't really matter if it looks pretty or not, because it's never going to be seen again once the deck's sealed and down. But I just want to coat it, just protect it, stop osmosis, stop water getting into the glass, stuff like that. So yeah, that's going to be the next step now. Mix up this flow coat and coat it all and finish it off and get ready for the next job, which will be the hull and the keel. I do have to flip the boat. I don't know how I'm doing it yet. If you've got any ideas, drop them in the comments. I have got access to diggers or machines basically where I am. He said he don't mind, he can give me a hand and we'll get the boat flipped. I'm just not sure of the best way to do it without causing damage in the process of flipping it. So next week the boat should be upside down and we should be sanding the hull and basically reinforcing the keel. And then not long we'll be flipping it back and installing everything, the deck, cuddy and everything else. So it's moving along pretty quick now, which is good news. Let's get on and flow coat it anyway. Well, as you can see, the stringers are actually complete. The boat is on its side. We're in the process of flipping it over, trying to do it by hand. But as you can see, all the stringers are done and they're all flow coated. I've left the bilge sump area because I am building that up more. So there's no point painting that because I'll have to sand it all back off. The tops of all of these stringers will be sanded before I bond down the deck. But this gives you an idea. It's a really tidy finish. It's all sealed, all protected. And yeah, there'll be no water ingressing any other. It's sealed for good now. I've roughly painted where the deck comes to. Anywhere this grey flow coat is above the deck, I am going to have to grind it off. But yeah, you can see there if I move slowly, the stringer layout. It's nice and strong. It's all protected and it's really good. I'm really happy. Got Mark over there, he's been giving us a hand. But yeah, we're in the process now of flipping the boat so I can start on the keel and start on the hull, as you can see there. I would have the camera on a stand, but the bracket's been broken, so I've got to film by hand, unfortunately. With the sump, sorry about these angles, you can see I've drilled the hole through the transom at the back. What I want to do is build all of this up so I don't get water holding in here at any point. I want it up so the water will drain straight out the bung. A lower boat, you see, you've got to use a sponge to clear out the bilge sumps. I don't want that. I want it to drain out naturally on its own. But yeah, I just wanted to show you quickly. I haven't videoed too much of this because it's a bit of a monotonous job. It's the same repeat over and over again. So, but the flow coat this is actually, people get confused. This is actually gel coat, what I've put on here, but it's got wax added to it. So then they call it a flow coat. So when this goes off, it'll go off nice and hard and it's done, it's sealed. If it was gel coat, it'll stay tacky. Obviously you got to cut the air supply off to it. That's why they use a gel coat in a mould. This is actually gel coat, like I said, with a wax. So trying to get mixed up, it's a flow coat now technically. Yeah, it's going off now, it's gelling, it's a bit sticky. So that's it now, on to the next job, which was like going to be the hull, doing the keels, reinforcing it all, and hopefully spraying the hull. And then we'll get the boat back upright and we'll get the decking, cuddy on, flybridge on. It's coming along now, it's getting there quite quick. I hope you're enjoying the boat building series. If you can, give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.